first item to move on to is adoption of the agenda. And there's been a very recent change, and that's going to be removal of item 9.2. The auditor just is not going to be presenting the audit to us tonight, so we can remove that item. There was also some talk of making those items time stamped, or making sure there was the time. That's not going to be necessary now because they're not joining in. So with that, is there any other changes that need to be made to the agenda? Seeing none, would somebody like to make a motion to adopt the agenda with that one change, dropping 9.2?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Okay. Arlen makes the motion. All in favor? Okay. We got it. Okay, next agenda item. Is there any public delegations, Chris?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Then we'll move on to our peace officers report. Can I get a motion on that? Donna makes that motion.
Did I unmute myself? Yes. The council received the senior peace officers March 2021 report for information.
Thank you. And I will turn it over to our fire chief for any highlights that he'd like to bring up.
Fire chief for peace officer.
Oh, it's going to be one of those
days. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for the March report, highlight a couple things. We sent out 22 unlicensed dog tickets from 226 notices sent out. Speeding ticket, 3 school zone tickets, and 3 unsightly notices sent out. Other than that, it was a pretty usual month. We did have a new peace officer hired, which I'm excited to see and work with this guy. His name is Lyndon Moore. He's an experienced officer that's coming to us from Calgary, and he will be starting on May 1st. And this was brought up earlier. We had that anti-mask rally last Friday. I was working with and under the direction of the RCMP on that rally, and everything was peaceful, and as a result, no issues. So I'll answer any questions council has.
All right. I see Councillor Stenhouse.
If you could just clarify for me what the traffic bylaw speeding ticket was? The third one down.
Traffic bylaw, that would be the speeding ticket rather than a provincial ticket. We issued the municipal ticket, which our discretion, we can do either or. So, yeah, it's just the normal speeding ticket, but issued under the municipal bylaw.
Well, it makes sense that we do it under the bylaw because we get to keep all the revenue under the municipal bylaw versus sharing it with the province, doesn't it? I didn't realize you could do that.
That's correct, yep.
Any other questions? All right, I had a couple. I was just noticing that like the traffic bylaw and speeding is way down, and our revenue is way down for I guess the revenue on the provincial side is way down. Can you speak on those?
That is the result of we're down to one officer. With Erica being off, I was on patrol by myself, so that factors into the amount of vehicles I stop and the likelihood of stopping as many vehicles versus 2 officers to 1 officer. So unfortunately, the revenue will be down based on that, but hopefully within the next month or 2, it'll be back up to our normal for the 2 officers. So.
Okay. Thank you for that. And just for my clarification again, I know this was asked before, but I can't remember the answer. As we talked about the provincial fines, that we share a portion of those with the province, but
Yep.
the dollar amount that you show in your report, is that the total amounts of tickets issued, or is that the portion that comes to the town?
Oh, that'll be the total amount issued for that month.
Okay. And the split, I remember it was 60-40 or something along. Okay, anything else for our senior peace officer? I got it right this time, huh? All right, seeing none, we had a motion from Councillor Danaka to receive his report. All in favor? It's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5.1, our minutes. Councillor 45-362.
Council approves the minutes from April 13th, 2021 regular meeting of council as presented.
All right. Is there any changes needed to those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, that's carried. Moving on then to item 8.1. Before I go there, item 6, is there any business arising from the minutes? All right, I don't see any, so we'll move on to item 8.1. Councillor Stenhouse.
I would like to make the motion that administration proceed with the offering for sale of properties obtained through the tax recovery process, value with incentives to bond.
Councillor Long with his hand up.
Are we actually allowed to sell properties for less than? I believe we have to sell it for market value. Rod?
So through your worship, that is correct. We don't have the option, according to provincial legislation, to actually sell below market. Rules around tax recovery are very, very specific. The one that we're adhering to here is us attempting or ultimately selling these properties, and it has to be at market value. And that's one of the items that's identified in the report is, using our local real estate firms provides the greatest exposure and hopefully gives us the fairest of market values. So even if this council wanted to sell below market in the tax recovery process, your hands are really tied. So it's something you can't do.
Can we add in incentives to buy, as in waivering demolition permits?
So at the end of the day, you have to sell at market value. I would hold off and wait to see what actually transpires in the offering process. I know that I brought this issue to council just before Christmas. We do have a couple properties whereby there's improvements or buildings on the properties, which may actually, to some buyers, be considered detriments to the sale price. I think what we would do is, see what happens, list them, see if we have any bites, and over time, if the realtors come back to us and say, no, we're having a huge problem selling, and maybe they recommend that removal of these structures is appropriate, that's something that we may do. But prior to actually removing those assets, we would require additional paperwork, probably from Alberta Health, to say that these units are contaminated and therefore have a zero value, until we have some of that official documentation saying that these are worth zero as far as the improvements and actually detriment. We can't proceed. So that was actually one of our first, options that I threw out to council, I think, before Christmas. That was one of the things we were thinking of doing is offering those, I'll call them improvements, basically just, for them to be taken off at no cost. We can't do that without going through some additional steps. Again, getting some health board certificates, that type of thing. So just at this point, the best way is let's just put them on the market the way they are, see what happens, and reevaluate after 90 or so days based on feedback from the realtors, and maybe change our approach. So in a nutshell, the tax recovery process is pretty regimented as far as what you have to sell them for. So offering incentives in that whole tax recovery process is not something you can do.
Rod, is there any other options for disposing of these properties? We've tried selling them ourselves. We've tried through the real estate before. Neither of them have worked. Do we have any other options, or is this really the only option we have, is to list them and hope they sell?
Well, the requirement in the MJ is to either sell at market value, so that's the one option, and we can sell ourselves, at market value, because of how the way the MGA is written. We probably have to get an appraisal so that we know that the properties are valued at market value, so that we have, so we protected ourselves, so we'd incur an additional cost there. This way, going to the real estate professionals, especially if we go to all the, list it with all of our real estate properties would be market value, and obviously then offers would dictate what market value is. The only other option is we can hold on to them. So we can hold on to them for 15 years from the day we've actually come from the tax sale, so we can do that. So that's quite a few years on some of these properties to hold on to them. And then there's another whole process after that 15 years where we can put them under our name, which they already are. So that process is almost kind of done because we've already put them in our name. The other thing we could do, I guess, is we could go into the marketing game ourselves and, start building properties and that type of thing on these vacant lots. But that, again, gets pretty complex. We'd have to put some type of value on these properties the way they are to put them in that separate tax recovery account. So I think your options are sell. Could we do it? Yes. May incur additional costs. And then you always have that potential scrutiny as to did you actually sell at market value? Go with realtors. That's option 2. Option C is just hold on to them. And then D, I guess, is getting a little bit more aggressive on redeveloping this type of stuff. But that starts getting into investments and another whole game which we're not equipped to do.
Okay, I think, just developing on the land or holding onto it for another 15 years are both things I don't think our council is interested in. So really, the only choice we have is to list them and hope to sell them, is what I'm hearing. Get them off of hopefully stop incurring costs on those properties and start making some tax dollars on
Yeah,
it.
I think that's the one big thing. Like, we are incurring costs. We got to cut the grass. We boarded up another one of the manufactured homes here about 2 months ago because there was signs of trespassing. So, yeah, we're just incurring costs right now, which I don't think is a good business plan. So get it sold.
The one other thing that you brought up is that we needed to get Alberta Health to condemn those properties. Is that something that we could get moving on if they are in that rough a shape? Because I like the idea of, giving those trailers away. For anybody else with those trailers, there's a cost incurred in moving them or demolishing them. But if somebody would get it for free and take it off of there, it makes it easier to sell, I believe.
I mean, it's up to council. I've been holding off on this. Like that was the plan back in, I think, November, and then we ran into some other hurdles, and just more and more and more work going on. It was cold. Just thought, are we going to get a health inspector out there with COVID, et cetera, et cetera? I just thought, let's just give it a shot. Let's just list them, see what happens. If we need to proceed in that direction, I can. There's no guarantee that they'll actually come back as being condemned either. Like, maybe they go in there and say, maybe they're not condemned. They're just extremely, extremely poor shape. So, that can come back. But if council wants me to, I can do it that way. Or we can test the market, see what happens, and reevaluate after 60, 90 days. I'm okay with it. Administration's okay with doing either or.
Well, my thinking is that we don't wait for 59 days. We do both concurrently, like list them and get Alberta Health in there and see what they say. I don't think that they would charge us to inspect those, so it wouldn't be a big cost. And then we have more information in 2 months as to what we want to do with those things based on, their report. We can see if we want to sell them, or when we get it, we can talk to the real estate agency, get them some. Okay, Councillor Long.
Does Councillor Stenhouse's motion still hold the floor, or is that a non-motion because?
Yeah.
No, it's still the motion on the floor, unless she wants to make an amendment to it. A friendly amendment by her. Judy, you're muted.
Okay, I will amend it that administration proceed with the offering to sale of and administration proceed with listing of the properties with real estate company that have storefront office.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to proceed with getting those properties inspected by Alberta Health, so that we know what we're dealing with those properties.
Is that something that should be a separate motion?
Yeah, it could be, or I don't know if it needs to be a motion. At least Rod knows about it, but it's probably good to put it down in a separate motion that we, then it's not lost and forgotten about. We'll start with Councillor Stenhouse's motion that Council direct administration to those properties inspected. And I'll just leave it at that. All in favor? That's carried. All right, moving on to item 8.2, the Alberta Rural Connectivity Coalition. Get a motion on this one. Okay, Councillor Courtley.
Council agree to join the Alberta Rural Connectivity Coalition.
Councillor Long?
Now, is this in conjunction with the organization and company that we in the county have initially signed up with for broadband?
No.
Or coalition of...
Yeah, the Alberta Rural Connectivity Coalition is just an organization that's basically lobbying to get connectivity for rural Alberta.
Perfect.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with our initiative at all with Canadian fiber optics, other than we're rural and we want to get connected. Yeah. Okay. All right, that's carried. Well, seeing none, I'll make the motion that Council receive the request to present an AUMA resolution, legislated notice requirement at the next AUMA for information. And I'll sort of give my little, my thoughts on it is that we were discussing before about possible resolutions that we might want to bring forth to AUMA. We didn't really have any, but with some discussions with Big Lakes Council, they had put forth a resolution that said that they wanted their agency, or RMA in their case, to push for mandatory notice of any changes of at least 1 year to the municipalities. So we had talked about that one, and that's the sort of the one that was brought forth, but administration has looked into what AUMA has for resolutions, and there was a couple of resolutions that are very, very similar to that. So I don't know if we needed to bring that one forward. The AUMA resolutions are, what's the word? If you read them a little bit more broad, For example, it's just they want predictable, sustainable funding. So it's a broad sense, but it's getting at the same outcome as having some predictable funding, which has already been passed by AUMA resolutions. So I'll throw it open to anybody else with questions or comments on this. All right, I see none, so all in favor? Carried. Moving on then to item 8.4, the fire apparatus plan. Councillor.
Council agrees to the apparatus plan as recommended by the Big Lakes County / Town of High Prairie Intermunicipal Committee, which includes the following. A, approval of funding to the amount of 50% of the increased cost between a pumper unit and a combined rescue pumper unit. B, the Town of High Prairie Rescue Unit be gifted to the county upon the arrival of the new combined rescue pumper engine. C, that the Intermunicipal Collaboration Framework, ICF, be revised to have a 50-50 capital share split for the rescue pumper indefinitely.
All right, thank you. So perhaps I'll turn it over to either administration or the fire chief to sort of go over this one a little bit, and then we might have questions.
Who's it going?
Do you want to take it, or?
You're it, or I'm it?
I'm it? Okay. So basically, the time is coming where the county engine is coming due to be replaced. Actually, it has been approved a couple times now, and because of various issues has been put on hold. With the fire service's review and change in leadership, there has kind of been a little bit of I guess it's a reconsideration of finding efficiencies, and in evaluating efficiencies, the thought is to combine a rescue pumper engine together. That's more or less the trend that is happening, all over, and basically trying to find, again, efficiencies in use of vehicles. So instead of having standalone vehicles for services, you basically combine units into one, and you provide same service but with less capital expenses. In discussion with the county fire chief and myself, we've looked at at some options, and we are willing to go down the path as recommended by the fire services Jim Coots, to go down the path of combining this particular unit. I guess we'll try that concept, and hopefully it's going to work and also save monies for both the county and the town.
So, and just so I'm clear, are you in support of this initiative?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. So I'll throw it open then for any questions, comments on this one. Councillor Stenhouse?
So we don't have real figures here. What the motion is saying is that we're agreeing to 50% of the increased cost, but we don't know what that 50% is.
The increased cost is the difference between purchasing of a pumper, which is the $515,000. Our truck was 400 and I think it was 90 something around there. In the 2021 dollar value, it was valued at about 515.
The extra additions to stuff is, it was, I think it's valued at approximately 600,000. So the difference is that 85,000 between what the pumper would cost and the pumper combination. So basically that's the difference. And once they've taken the difference, then according to the agreement here that was discussed by council or the councilors, they came up with that 50-50 kind of split sort of thing.
So is that where the 42.5 comes in? Is that what we
I don't know, in my estimation is right, to look at this, examine this, and consider it.
So I guess what I'm asking is, in the motion, in the A part, the approval of funding the amount to 50% that we put in that dollar figure of $42.5, instead of just leaving it open and saying that we are funding 50% of it? In the motion, it doesn't have the figures. It says in A, it just says that we agree to fund 50%. So if we include the amount to say exactly how much we are contributing.
And I'm just going to put, I just want to put a hold on this because our CAO got kicked off. He's having an internet connection problem, and he should be in the meeting. So let's just take a 10-minute break while he tries to get reconnected, and then we will continue on this agenda item. But we can just put it on a hold for now, and hope he gets on. He wasn't able to connect.